this is a time where if you're not saying who you are and who and what you believe in, I'm going to give you some side eye. I mean, it's really true. It's like, because I don't want to be giving my social capital to people I don't believe in at this point, at this very critical juncture in history.
Hello, friends, and welcome to the newest episode of Creatives on Camera. If you're an entrepreneur teaching, designing patterns, or running a shop and feeling like video is just too complicated or time-consuming, you're in the right place. This podcast is your guide to creating video content that connects authentically with your audience, builds your business, and expands your reach without the stress of a huge production or expensive equipment. We make it simple, effective, doable. I'm Lyric Montgomery Kennard, an artist, educator, and host of the show. Join me as we explore practical tips and strategies to help you confidently share your creativity online. Let's get started. My friends, if you've thought about starting something on Patreon, today's guest does exactly that. She has a lovely community that you are going to really enjoy hearing about. Maddie Kertay is the founder of the Badass Quilters Society. She is unapologetically inclusive and sheltering and has created a safe space for many communities who are not welcome in other spaces out in the quilting industry. We have a wide-ranging conversation. I'm Lyric Kennard with the Creatives on Camera podcast, where we talk to people like you, people who are using video or have online memberships or teaching businesses, who are artists and crafters and creators. So let's jump right in. You are going to love today's episode. Hello, friend. It is so good to be able to have this conversation with you. Maddie, why don't you introduce yourself to us? Tell us a little bit about who you are and your business.
I am Maddie Kertay. I am the founder of the Badass Quilters Society. And I am here representing and bringing together all progressive slash liberal slash leftist quilters and craftspeople, because we've really grown to being more than just quilters, at a time where it can be kind of more difficult to be out there in this landscape and people are looking for connection. And so I facilitate that connection.
You have some wonderful stuff. Your Instagram is just wonderful and huge. The things you post there are fierce and loving. And then you have online shop, right?
Mm-hmm. I do. I have my online shop and I have my Patreon. And so I've kind of like, that's kind of like the little circle of the world right now as far as online goes. And plus, we're getting ready to be at a large national convention as well. So that's exciting.
All right. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And so your shop, you sell stickers and patches and postcards and wonderful things.
There's a lot of it sitting right behind me back here. But yeah, lots of stickers, thousands of stickers every month, T-shirts, and our biggest new thing is patches. We've dived very deeply down the patch hole this year, and that has been very exciting, and it's brought a whole other group of skills into my asset of, like, because I really had designing stickers down and the ordering process and how long it took and stuff like that. And so then I'm learning this whole new thing. So when I introduced them to community, I said, this is going to be bumpy, people. And it has been bumpy, but that's okay. And they're very accepting of that.
All right. Now, this is an actual community. It is a group that people can join, and you use Patreon. I was on there yesterday looking at all your membership levels. Just tell me a little bit, when did you start that and why, and how does it work for you?
So we're into our second year now over on Patreon. And honestly, Patreon started as a way that was really easy. I was doing stickers and people were like, oh, I just wish I could get these automatically to my my snail mailbox every month. And I was like, you look at a lot of different platforms and a lot of different ways to do fulfillment and stuff like that. And it's pretty boggling trying to decide it. And so I tripped on Patreon because I was actually following somebody else on Patreon, and they started having a monthly kind of reward sort of thing. And I was like, And so I started over there, and then as just a way to deliver the stickers. And then it's become so much more. It's become, because it is a membership site, people do have to pay to be part of it. There is a free level, but to get the majority of the content, they do have to pay. But what that gives me is a barrier. So of safety for people, where they can speak honestly and truthfully and express their sadness and their joy, but not have to worry about, honestly, the weirdos of Instagram or the hate that can come to you on a public forum. So that's just not going to happen over there, because I'm in charge of the algorithm over there. And so you also see everything. So it's worked out really well. Has it had its bumps? Yeah.
As every business does.
As they do. And I just always go into it and say, we're going to try this. We're going to try this. And I'm really open to say, there's lots of things that could go wrong. Things are going to get bumpy. If you want to hold on for the ride, I would love to have you as part of it. And then we dive in and we learn together.
Right. So inside Patreon, they're seeing a discussion feed, a community, and then also the platform is able to subscribe people at different monthly levels.
Yes.
I love that you have like free and then like 3 or 4 different levels, and all of them deliver a different category of, added bonuses for each one.
They do. And we started with, honestly, I didn't actually have a free level for the whole first year. And the free level actually turned out, it was actually an accident, because I'd really come into it saying, I'm investing my time, my money, my heart in everything, and it has to pay me. Because I think that we're really bad in this industry, and honestly, most especially as women, about undervaluing our time. And I just wasn't going to do that. And so I didn't have a free level.
Quilt world, right?
I am. I'm in it's funny though, because I probably do less quilting than a whole lot of people, because I love lots of different creative stuff. I do like a large yearly quilt. I'm doing this year, the Bone of My Bone quilt, which is an original Outlander quilt that I'm designing. And I'm giving the templates each month to my members to do with as they wish. And so we're working through that. But I share all kinds of stuff on the Patreon, because it is a safe place. It's a safe place when there's ferocious news that is so scary or so upsetting or so angering. It's a place where I can talk freely, and I talk directly to those who are there. But as far as the free side goes, Patreon, like I said, it's going to be bumpy, folks. They've said, hey, we're introducing a free side, because there didn't used to be a free side. And there was a public side, which meant people did not have to give you their email addresses, but there wasn't a free side. And unfortunately, so I was like playing around, and it turned out when you click the button, you couldn't unclick the button.
Oh, no.
And they didn't mention that part. It was a radio button, on, off, on, off. Well, this was the only on. It turns out this was an only on button. So I really think of it as a waiting room. I think of it as a place where people can come, get a feel for what we're all about, and then they can choose to opt in or not to get a mailing or get a freebie. It starts at $3 a month. I mean, you can't even get a coffee for $3 a month. And if they're not up to doing that, that's okay too. But I'm not going to deliver the content to them. And that's that's a choice.
Well, and this is, it turns out to be a good business decision for almost every business. When
Absolutely.
We're delivering content, to have somewhere where people can come into our ecosystem and check it out, see what's going on, see what the flavor is of the thing, and see if you like it, right? Before you purchase the whole thing. It's like the lovely little tasting spoons at ice cream places.
It is.
Yeah. And those people are often much more likely to buy in to your content if they've had somewhere to warm up to you, right?
They are. And it's interesting because I really feel like people, quote unquote, warm up to me on Instagram because
Mhm.
that's mostly where they're going to find me. I don't think you very rarely, although I think things will change on Patreon over time, you really don't find somebody on Patreon. You find them someplace else and then then you move over to them. So I really feel like people kind of understand me or at least kind of get where I'm going from the content that I put on Instagram. So it's a double. I find it's actually as a creator, it's a little bit of a double-edged sword because I mean, my natural inclination is to give a lot. And I have to be really careful not to honestly give too much because then I am honestly giving away my talent for free.
Mhm.
And there's a thing I do give away for free, and that's taking care of neonatal kittens. So I take care of neonatal kittens, and this is kitten season. So I got like a little, my eyes like clicking because it's so tired. But so there are things that I do for my community that, I mean, the bigger world community, they're absolutely free.
Right.
But yeah, so it's a struggle at times. It
Yeah.
really is.
Well, there has to be us reaching out to find new people for our
Yes.
community, and that's the
Uh-huh.
public places. That's social media. I'm going big into YouTube this year as a search engine,
Yes. Uh-huh.
right? That was the class I was telling you about. We have a YouTube expert coming in who
Oh, that's
knows
lovely.
how to work the algorithm for our specific community.
Oh, that's lovely because it is a vast thing, and having somebody who can guide you through a process is invaluable.
Yeah, I thought I knew a lot. She knows way more. Anyway, you have to find those people, but then you use that outreach to bring them into the first taste. And then those people, they're with you. They chose you. They had to do
did.
something to come into where you are. And
They do.
that's where you warm them up. You give them the little flavors. And that's
Yeah.
where your most valuable supporters are, right?
They really
Most
are.
of the people who come to you are not going to be dead cold audiences.
Oh, no. Yeah. No, there would be never anybody who doing that. I've actually just got through doing an analysis of because, of course, you always have attrition in any online platform. You have people who come and they're like, they got what they needed or they left or they stay. And mine starts at $3, goes to 6, 10, 12, and 20. 20 is a sponsorship level. So that's businesses. Although it's weird because I now have like 10 people on the sponsorship level who just really value what I do so much that they want to give me that amount of money
They're
every
actual
month.
just Patrons.
They're just patrons. But I think it's very interesting because it shows me like, who leaves each month.
Yeah, the churn.
What level they were on, that churn and stuff like that. And I think it's very interesting that more people leave from the $3 level than they leave from any other level.
Well, because the other levels,
They're more vested.
they've committed, right?
They have committed, and that's okay too. I mean, and because the $3 level was interesting because Patreon kind of gives you these suggestions about how much they think, and of course they take their cut of everything, and then of course PayPal takes their cut. I mean, so but unless you have thousands and thousands and thousands of paying subscriptions, you can't do it at $1 because basically you end up giving your time away at $1 because you end up making like 27 cents. It's after everything. It's kind of crazy. But it was also not the number that I couldn't stop nuisance people from jumping over. For $1, they were willing to jump over and become problematic. $3 was the level. What I say is like it stopped assholes from jumping over. For some reason, that was their barrier, which I thought was very funny because that's a very low commitment to being a person. I mean, it'd be obnoxious that if $3 stops you from coming and being obnoxious, but $3 seems to be the level.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have a couple thousand folks over there in paying community, and and that's where my heart is.
Right.
Is in having conversations with them.
Let's talk about teaching online. Maybe you've thought about it, but it feels overwhelming. You're worried about being on camera, not having the right tech, or figuring out how to translate hands-on workshops to a virtual setting. I've been there, but here's the truth. You don't need to be a tech genius or have a big audience to make online teaching work. That's why I'm inviting you to my free Virtual Teaching 101 webinar. I'll show you how to take what you're already doing and turn it into online classes that reach students globally, all with minimal equipment and simple steps. When I made the switch, my income per teaching hour jumped by 7 times compared to in-person workshops. And I'll show you exactly how it can work for you too. Spots are limited, so don't wait. Sign up now at academyforvirtualteaching.com and let's get you started on this incredible journey. I'll see you there. Right. And it's an automated way. Patreon takes the lists, and I'm assuming it will give you output each month of who gets what level of stuff, and you're mailing things.
I am. I just finished the April mailing, and we mail to about, I think it's 886 people. So I stuff 886 envelopes.
Oh, that's a lot of work.
It is, and they're segmented, just like you were mentioning. So there are people who are getting a single sticker with their letter, because I do a letter that's professionally printed every month. They're beautiful. And then I have a matching sticker that goes with it that's exclusive to community. It's never released to the public. And then the next group gets 2 stickers and a mini print. And then now we have a patch level. And so people can also get that month's patch as well.
Nice.
So, but I do have to subdivide all those. So it's a very intense couple days getting it done.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure Patreon helps you subdivide those.
They do. Oh, yeah,
One
absolutely.
list, they do this, the next list.
Yes. And so I download lists at a time and then print off those labels. And on my labels, so because the first time I ever did dividing, I just printed off the labels and I was like, I don't know the difference between these rolls of labels.
Whoops.
And so now I adjunct on the last line when I go into the print, before the print process starts, and I add a single asterisk, 2 asterisks, 3 asterisks, whatever, so that when those print off, they all have the coding on them. So it also helps if I have somebody else helping put the labels on, because we have done it wrong before. And I had to go back and remail for one whole level.
Oh, lovely.
I know. So there's always bumps, but that's okay. That's the learning process. But that was super helpful for me to adjunct this coding onto the mailing label, so that I could make sure, because it was just a careful glance. I mean, yes, I could look the person up and see what level they were at or whatever, but this way it was right there on the label. Yes, it is. Right? Lots of it.
Anything you can automate is...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
As soon as you can, automate everything you can. You build systems and machines so that they can run without you, right?
Yes, absolutely.
How long have you had an Instagram feed? How long have you spent building up that audience?
So Badass has had 2 kind of eras. It had the first era, and then I stopped for 2 years. And during that time, I didn't use Instagram. I had an Instagram, but I didn't really use it. I was on Facebook. It was the age of Facebook. And I had about 30,000 people over on Facebook. And I also had a private community at that point. And a private paid community. And then I got really sick I got sick, and I also got sick of the industry. And it was just, and so I said goodbye to everybody, and I literally pushed the button on Facebook and made the whole site go away. And so for 2 years, I worked on our old house. And then I was just sitting at dinner one night and with my husband, and I was like, nobody's taken it up. Nobody is out there advocating for more inclusive spaces, loudly at least, and publicly. I couldn't find it. And he was like, I was wondering how long it was going to take you to go back. And I was like, I think I'm going to go back. But I set ground rules for myself, and I decided to come back on Instagram. So the Instagram was like, I had less than 300 people on Instagram because I just wasn't really using it. So I came back. Instagram, I tried to switch my name back to the Badass Quilter the way it normally was. They wouldn't let me do it. They had new rules about names and what they could say, and Badass was considered foul language. And so I had to adjunct it. So it's like the underscore badass underscore quilter. So it like it puts it together and it fooled the it fooled their their thing. And so I came back and that was about 2 years ago. And now we're at 105,000.
Very, very nice.
Yeah. So it's been quite the thing.
Yeah, it is a thing.
Yeah.
Do you have a regular posting schedule? How do you manage your content creation?
I'm a goblin of chaos. Some people are so good, and I'm so envious of them, of the people who know, like, my content's going to come out Wednesday, Thursday, and, blah, blah. And it comes, and I'm like, I just thought this would be fun to share, And so, like, absolutely on the fly. Now, are there things that are very specific that I share? Yeah. Like for our sponsors or different stuff like that. But even then, they're like, hey, I got this cool fabric in. And they send me a couple pictures, and then I load it up and share it, or they send me stuff in the mail and I'm like, ooh, that's cool. Let's share about that. And so it's very lifetime. If the only time that it wouldn't specifically be lifetime is if I am someplace else and that safety is a factor. And then I'm going to off time it a little bit. And then there's things that you won't see, like my grandchildren don't show up on my feed because my grandchildren are not on social media. And so people know that I'm a grandparent. I have 3 grandchildren. I have 6 children and 3 grandchildren. All my children are grown, and they're between ages of 36 and 24. And but you don't see my grandchildren. So if I'm off doing stuff with them, there might be other parts of that I show. But yeah, I am a goblin of chaos when it comes to. Maybe I would be better off doing it the other way, but it just works for me, and I'm now incredibly fast at being able to edit a video. Because like I've talked to other people who are like, I spent 4 hours editing that reel and it didn't do anything. I'm like, I have probably never spent more than 10 minutes editing a reel.
Where do you edit them?
I use edits. I use edits on my phone most of the time. Now, there's like if I'm doing a video like that's a step out or something like that, that's going to go up on Patreon, I will use CapCut on my desktop and do it because it's a little easier to see.
And it's much easier to see.
Yeah, it's much easier. Also, I can pull the timeline out and then get more precise cuts and stuff like that.
Right.
But honestly, content is here and gone on Instagram.
Exactly.
I mean, it does last longer than it used to. And I can tell that because I still, from posts from months ago, I still get comments on posts from months and months and months ago. So I think that there is some longer legs on some posts, but I'm not looking for a viral post. Because although I do have viral posts, and usually they're ones when I'm talking to the camera, and usually I'm pretty pissed off, and I'm responding to something that somebody said that was so erroneously wrong, or hateful or whatever. So those things go. And then sometimes I've got a group of friends that I hang with, and we'll do a post together. Like we just did a post for Trans Day of Visibility, and it has like 750,000 views right now. It's nice, but you know what? And I'll always do it because those causes are very close to my heart and close to badass. But I don't necessarily think they're very good for my algorithm because they are not necessarily, yes, they're getting people who are, that I share that part of my life with, but they're not necessarily crafters, quilters, whatever. They are not enriching my bigger sphere of my business. So there are definitely reasons I'm going to continue doing those because those causes are very close to my heart. And it's very important for me that I speak out on them. But I don't think everybody's always in that, I need a viral post. Right. I said, what you need is connection.
Exactly.
What you need is connection with the person who needs to hear from you right now. And very rarely is that on the viral level.
Exactly. I think social media trains people to look at how many likes and how many views.
Yeah.
And that's not actually the numbers that count. It's, are you able to bring in the people who are your people, the people who need you, who you can truly serve, right? So it's kind of one of the reasons I focus on YouTube instead of the social media, other social media. But when you make a YouTube video, you turn one video into 3 shorts, and I use a social media management system that just posts them everywhere, right? So it's not extra work. But it's the same idea. Are we finding the right people?
Yeah.
We want to speak to everybody. And some of those things are really, really good. But exactly what you said, the numbers, the giant viral video numbers, they don't actually build your business like you want them to.
No, they actually really don't. Honestly, even though, it was very exciting to hit 100,000 followers. It's exciting. There's nothing to be said about that. And we're doing like a year-long giveaway. I'm giving away a sewing machine every month of 2026. I know. I gave one away in January, February, March. So I've given away 3 sewing machines so far. And I'm giving away one every month, and I'm doing that over my Patreon community because I didn't want to attract people who were just there for a sewing machine if I was going to do it on Instagram. I was like, you know what? If you really want a chance at a sewing machine, you can make the small time commitment that it takes to come over and be in my community. That way. But in fact, it looks like I'm going to be speaking in this fall about the downside to 100,000 followers. And so that it's, in some way, it's really good in some ways, but in other ways, it changes how you speak to people.
Tell me about it.
So you don't know who you're speaking to quite as much because if you are, which is why I really drill down on my message about who I am and why I am on Instagram. And it shows up in almost everything I do. I weave together why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because maybe so right now I've started a series of talking about the different feet for my particular sewing machine, and how it extrapolates to other sewing machines as well. Because not everybody gets the support that they need from their local sewing place, or they bought their sewing machine online, or they inherited it, or whatever. But I'm always going to talk about the inequity in the sewing world and why we don't have support for everybody. And so I'm going to weave my the drum that I beat back into all that content so that I get as close to like-minded people as possible. Because honestly, I don't want the other ones there. And they don't probably really want me either. So the importance of, and what I say, and it's definitely something not everybody agrees upon, is this is a time where if you're not saying who you are and who and what you believe in, I'm gonna give you some side eye. It's really true. It's because I don't want to be giving my social capital to people I don't believe in at this point, at this very critical juncture in history.
Right. We are, for history,
Yeah.
We are at the point in the United States where we have concentration camps. We have horrible things where people are being illegally persecuted. But don't even get me started about laws, because every person in the Holocaust was killed legally.
Yes.
So if there is a law that is evil, there's no way that we should obey it.
It's very difficult that way. And I want people to know who I am and to be there for that. Do they have to like that I like pineapple on my pizza? We could disagree about pineapple on my pizza and think that I should, that's just the most horrible thing. But we can't disagree about the basic worthiness of being a human.
Right.
And so I'm happy to those people not to be part of my community. And if that means that I don't ever attain, and it has held me back. It has absolutely held me back in this industry. If I'd kept my lip zipped, there were so many times that I had huge offers to do things. And I was and they're like, well, but you have to get rid of that, or you can't say that. And I'm like, so sorry. That's just the way I'm going to be. So that's nice though, because I know that the people who are with me are all in.
Right.
And that gives me the freedom to speak to them in a way that I would feel constrained, or people would try to constrain me
Right.
in other
And
ways.
this applies to any business purpose who are making videos or any kind of content for public consumption. If you know who your people are, you know who you are, and you know how you serve them, and you keep your content really tight, you find your people, and it aligns with who you are and your values as a person, and your business centers around something that you can really believe in. And it's just also a really smart strategy for social media. I don't care what it is you're doing or showing or pitching, but you know, keeping every little piece of content you make tight. You know, who's this for? How am I serving them? Let me do this one point. Those are effective videos, instead of trying to mellow out your message and talk to every kind of person, you know. And this is outside of politics. This is just whatever you do. When I bring in people who are new to teaching, often it's like, but I want to help these people and these people and these people. I'm like, eventually you will, but you won't reach any of them unless you choose. You know, niching down is really, really hard for people, but it's the way you find your people.
It is the way you find your people. I mean, for me, niching down I really think of mine as an umbrella. And so I have this overarching philosophy, and then I have all these other things that fit in underneath it, because I am a well-rounded person. And I mean, and I talk about a lot of those things. And for me, because my umbrella is so encompassing, because you know how, so it's funny. When I was a kid, I had one of those umbrellas that came all the way down, that was clear, that you could like walk under and you could see out. And I thought I was hot shit. I love that umbrella. And so you can have a broad umbrella, but mine is like more encompassing, and I have all these things underneath it, and nothing gets out from that thing that isn't touched in some way by my overarching philosophy of my belief in humanity and my leftist beliefs in how we need to move forward in humanity, and my belief in matriarchy and all of those things, and my, being, part of the, as my friend says, being part of the LGBTQIA mafia. I mean, because and I've never made any beef about it. I mean, I have told people, like, I'm bisexual, so I put that out there, and it's amazing. But then I'm a mom who's lost a child. One of our children died. I mean, there's a lot of things that I talk about that people don't talk about necessarily, because whether it's social taboos or fear or whatever, but I am so amazed with the number of direct messages I get after, because even though it's not new news that I mention it, because like on Buy or Erasure Day, I made a video or something like that, or on Child Loss Day, or any other thing that happens to be out there, I'm just amazed at the amount of people who reach out to me and say, me too.
Right?
Me too. Me too. I mean, and like to the thing, like nobody knows I've lost. I mean, people say nobody knows that I used to have another child, or nobody knows. I mean, and I just get some of the most heartfelt letters. And those mean so much to me, because that means that somebody who is feeling alone feels less alone.
Exactly. I've had the same exact experience. Some people might look at you and like, you're oversharing side eye. And I'm like, no, I am fine. I share what I choose to share, and I lose some people. And then the people who needed that, they're the people I really needed to support.
Oh,
They're the
absolutely.
people who we needed to be in community with. So I mean, even this podcast, I'm sure there will be people who are like,
Yep.
oh my gosh, Lyric, I had no idea. And I'm like,
Yep.
how did you have no idea?
Well,
I mean,
it's like, am I not doing a good enough job at this? I mean, and that was
Right.
really one of the reasons when I stopped the other version of badass is because I spent so much time saying it, or trying to like be softer maybe in saying it.
Yes.
And then, so when I came back, there was like a line in the sand. And my 2 lines in the sand were like, nobody will have any doubt about where I sit on these topics. And this has to make me money. In fact, the thing I said is that within the first year, if I'm not making amount of money that I would make going and working and putting tchotchkes on the shelf at Home Goods, I have to make that much money. If I don't make that much, if I don't clear at least that much money, this is not a real thing. Because I mean, there's definitely a learning curve. There's time to onboard and make, but there was that was my low bar. That was my bar of, because otherwise I did need to go and work, there and and in some ways that would have been so much easier because I wouldn't come home from Home Goods and think about how I could have better arranged the shelf of syrups in the gourmet food section. I would come home and I would do my things and I would do my crafts and I would do my stuff and I wouldn't have to think about it. But I'm always thinking about badass and how I can better serve my community. And that could be problematic. We talked about that a little bit. So I really do try to take the weekends off and do other things that are not part of my world. And yet, so the funny part is some of it does creep back in because I do woodworking. It creeps back in because I love to share. I love to share those things.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we're all makers, artists, I find. We all want to try all the things, which is good. And when you turn that into a business, when you take the thing you love creating and turn it into the business, it's best to go in kind of eyes wide open. I love that you set that parameter for yourself because building a car is completely different than driving it.
Yes.
Building it is time intensive. It involves failures. It involves pain and labor and expense, right? So that's what we do when we first build our business. And then after that, it's tune-ups and tweaking and getting, learning how to drive better. And
the occasional crash.
And the occasional crash, yes. Yes. And we all experience that.
Yeah.
But if we go in there thinking it's all going to be easy, and parts of it are easy and lovely.
Sure.
But if you know why you're doing it, then when you get to the hard part, it's worth keeping on.
Absolutely. I mean, knowing why you're there. I mean, because the truth of the matter is I do have a lot of flexibility in my time. I still have to work my 40 or more hours a week, but I don't necessarily have to do it on somebody else's schedule. So I am able to take care of neonatal kittens, and I am able to get up during the night, which does mean I have to actually sleep a little bit more so that I have a later start date on those in those months. So, I mean, there are definite advantages to it, but it is not a one and done. And especially in this world, I don't have, I have, because I buy it myself, I have to buy my health insurance off the market because my husband now, he is on Medicare because he is 72 and almost 73. And so he's on Medicare. So when he wasn't working anymore, I have to buy my insurance.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got different expenses.
Yeah.
In that way.
Yeah, we have to it's fine if you want a side hustle, if you're privileged enough that that's all you have to do. But going in with parameters, with an understanding that this is a real business.
Yes.
That you, and we've talked already about you're tracking data. You had goals set at the beginning. You are trying to create boundaries around your business and your personal life.
Yes.
And keeping those in mind at the very beginning allows you to build something sustainable that you love. That, it actually is so much better, isn't it? That we get to do what we love
Oh,
as a
absolutely.
business.
It's fabulous. I mean, I love that I can incorporate the things that are my passions together, but that was very, very intentional. I
Hmm.
mean, that was an intentional, like you think of like that Venn diagram
Yeah.
and how those things overlap. I mean, so I very intentionally mashed together my beliefs and my craft
Hmm.
and made a world and a job for myself out of it.
Yeah. It's fantastic. And
Hmm.
that's what online can do for people. There's
Oh,
no
absolutely.
gatekeepers. We can build our systems, build our business in whatever way suits our life.
Hmm.
Again, I strongly encourage any of you out there who are at the beginning of thinking about this to go into it as a real business and go into it with plans and understanding your value system so that it does fit your life, that it does support you, that when it gets hard, you're like, it's worth keeping on. I'm gonna keep working at this because I know who I serve.
Absolutely. I mean, so that's really interesting because I started because we all pick like a name. You look back and I'm like, was the badass quilter? I mean, it was a great name, and it came from a very, very specific set of circumstances and how it all happened. But there's so many other things I love, and that has expanded out as well. Um, and it's also expanded out like who my sponsors are. Cause like I have somebody who is a sponsor who is an accountant now, a bookkeeper, I should say, actually technically bookkeeper, who specializes in bookkeeping for creatives because she is also a quilter and she's also had other creative businesses and she's and she's a fabulous bookkeeper and she really understands how to talk to people who are in this crafty business and how to make sure that you're getting the best. And I've got like health brands and stuff like that, the ones that I
Interesting.
really
We'll have
believe
to
in.
get her link in the bio. I mean, we're talking to business people. Maybe I can get her come on.
But to say, I bet you Ava would love to come on because she's really great at that. And so it is so funny how many people like these, was like the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon? Like how many people that you like start touching and knowing out in the world because they come in through different ways and you build this circle that I think of like a star with all these rays
Mhm.
around it, and so that's been super cool. I've really loved that part of it as well.
It is so much fun
Yeah.
making connections and building those communities.
Hmm.
And, the business people we work with are so much fun. I enjoy my quilters, my artists that I teach quilting and art to.
Hmm.
Um, but man, I have so much fun being with my colleagues because we get it.
Yes,
we,
it is. And it's just different parts of you.
Mhm.
It's different parts of your own Venn diagram, and I love how they overlap each other and they inspire other parts of it. So that's been a really positive experience to kind of circle out and circle further out in the world. Because, like I said, there was things I didn't share, and then I started like my woodworking morphed into my quilting space when I started doing like wooden clappers and I started
Mhm.
carving wooden clappers and stuff like that. And so they started meeting up and then I started meeting like wax brands who like do woodworking stuff. And like, it's been a lot of fun.
Oh, so much fun. It
Yeah.
is. And it is so much fun to mix up. I always encourage people to get outside of your craft art
Oh yeah. Your
silo.
bubble. Yep.
Mix it all up as much
Hmm.
as we can.
Yeah.
Well, Maddie, I am grateful to you for having created a safe space, especially for the diverse community, especially for the queer community who, in so many other places in their lives, are not safe, not accepted. It affects my family too. So we need this. And you have worked hard to make this beautiful, safe, welcoming environment
Thank you.
and to go all I've done it too. Go all mama bear.
Yeah.
When we need to, it. So some people are going to listen to this and say, well, you're not actually accepting, but no, we will step in the path of anybody who's trying to harm our loved ones.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
not
no.
acceptable.
No, the paradox of intolerance.
Tolerance, right?
Yeah, and that's like I do not have to tolerate intolerance to be a tolerant person. I mean, you can break it down. You can do all the semantics on it, and in the end, we all get to build a community that we want to hang out with. And so, for me, I built the community. I opened the door. I became the lightning rod that takes that hit because I'm able to. Some days is it hard?
Right.
Yeah. But otherwise, I'm really comfortable taking it in order that other people can find their safe community as well.
Same.
Yeah.
So
that's excellent.
Fist bump with you.
Indeed.
That's awesome. Well, Maddie, where can we find you online?
So the two easiest places are on Instagram as the Badass Quilter, and you can also just look up Maddie Kertay and it pops up as well on Instagram. Or for more in-depth conversations and things that are not controlled by an algorithm, that's over on Patreon, and then that's in the Badass Quilter community on Patreon.
Right. And we will have all of those links in the show notes. And one thing I love to ask before we leave, Maddie, what is the last thing you made?
The last thing I made, I'm a multi-project person. But how about the last thing I touched? How about that? The last thing I touched is I'm actually making my own underwear.
Oh, fun.
I am. I really wanted some merino. I was like, ooh, because I've been really getting into more all natural fabrics and making sure that for my wardrobe. And I'd gotten some wool clothing, really loved it. Thought, ooh, I would really love to maybe try the merino wool underwear. They are $40 a pair. And I'm sure that they're absolutely lovely, but I am in kitten season right now, so I spend a lot of money on kitten formula. And so I ordered some beautiful merino wool, and I'm making underwear.
Well, there you go. It's so funny with sewists that often there's things like that we don't realize, we can do those too.
Yes.
We can do those things too and finally have something that fits. Oh my goodness. How would that be?
I know. It's crazy. I know.
Well, Maddie, it has been an absolute delight. I'm so appreciative of your time and your willingness to come chat with my people.
Yay. Thank you for having me. It's been wonderful.
It's been a delight. And my friends, always, speak for what you believe and keep creative. The world needs your beauty, your voice, your art, the things you make. Every good thing you put out into the world makes a difference. So never stop.
Thank you so much for joining me on Creatives on Camera. I know there are countless podcasts out there, and I'm honored you spent your time here. If you enjoyed this episode and don't want to miss the next one, please subscribe to the podcast. Then, if you'd like to stay connected and get even more tips on teaching, marketing, and video creation, sign up for my email list at academyforvirtualteaching.com. You'll get exclusive insights and updates delivered straight to your inbox to help you grow your creative business with ease. Lastly, be sure to check the show notes below in the episode description for links to everything mentioned today. And I'll see you in the next episode.